What's going on, my friends on Facebook? What's going on, my friends on YouTube? I'm about to show y'all some clips. This is actually from Italy, but there's protests around the world. France, Italy, Australia, Austria. I mean, a lot of these European countries are, and Australia's not European, but you get what I'm saying. A lot of European countries, Australia, they're having massive protests against the mandates, and I wanted to cover those. And then I wanted to show you some guy named Michael Gunner, who I just found out about, Chief Minister of Northern Territory. And they seem like psychopaths to me because here's one that I know. I'm sorry, on Facebook you're not going to be able to see the text. It doesn't matter though. But look at that. That's a picture out of the mainstream media of what they're calling a quarantine facility. Look at that. That's a quarantine facility, folks. Is that not creepy? I remember, listen, I don't like conspiracy theories. I really don't. I don't like bad conspiracy theories. I don't like sloppy conspiracy theories. I remember when people that were conspiracy theorists used to sit here and say, "Oh, imagine if they were throw us in quarantine facilities." And I was like, dude, that's crazy, man. I mean, maybe. I know these people are messed up, but I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? I always try to have a kind heart. I don't think. And then it's like, get your booster shot or else you need to go to the COVID facility if you don't get tested. If you get tested positive for COVID-19, it's like, yo, people have been sick before. This is not the first sickness to ever exist in human history. I don't think a quarantine facility is necessary, but we will get into it. God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Thank you guys for being here. Real quick before I start, I have two things to say. One, these should be shipping out, the God is Great sweatshirts and all the long sleeves and stuff. The only people that aren't getting shipments, I just got to tell you, because I don't know another time to tell you, is the Dream Rare. If you bought a Dream Rare hoodie, they're still being embroidered. I apologize for the delay. The supply chains in America are terrible. I get them created in the USA, stitched in the USA, printed in the USA, and also the material. And it's just been a nightmare this year. So I apologize. I hate to make people wait, and I just think it's kind of unprofessional, but it's been kind of a disaster. Even my beanies, you guys know my God bless beanies. I was killing it with those, and we can't get them, and I don't want to buy another one. So those are sold out. So I apologize, but you will get your Dream Rare hoodies ASAP. I apologize it's taking so long. And before I also started, real quick, in America, we had this guy who ran over a bunch of people and children at a Christmas parade. It's just disgusting in Wisconsin. And the media, I just want to say this real quick, because I don't care if we disagree on politics, policy, welfare programs, taxes, foreign policy. It's not a big deal to me. There's room for debate. But when the riots happened last year, there was a week of riots, okay? People in Kenosha had their face broken, you know what I'm saying, their jaw broken. There's this one guy. Our communities were terrorized. And I lived in Los Angeles. There was just straight up mayhem, arson, looting, robbery. People were dying across the country. It was scary. And the media and left-wing celebrities acted like it never even happened. They justified it. They supported it. They bailed people out of jail. They acted like it was totally fine. And then you have the Kyle situation where it was a clear self-defense case. Okay. And then the media keeps telling everybody he's a white supremacist, this and that. And then a guy goes and murders a bunch of people. The media has blood on their hands. They don't need to admit it. I'm not saying this is going to hold up in a court of law, but they know what they're doing. They have blood on their hands. They're trying to divide the races. They're trying to push all this anti-white rhetoric and say it's not even possible to hate white people. Meanwhile, they just keep telling people white supremacy, white supremacy, white. This is a 17-year-old kid that said he supports Black Lives Matter who got attacked by a pedophile, and you guys are supporting him. So it's no wonder people are doing this. The media is I would say programming and brainwashing people to feel this way. And then they act like it doesn't even happen and it was random. It wasn't random. The media is disgusting. Left-wing celebrities like Mark Ruffalo are pathetic idiots. And, everybody's catching on to what you guys are doing. It's not a simple political disagreements. You guys are just straight up liars, and you're inspiring and motivating people to feel completely the opposite of what's going on. You guys are literally like wicked. It's like up is down, down is up, left is right, right is left. Riots don't exist. They could burn down your neighborhood. If somebody defends their neighborhood, they're the white supremacist. And then some guy kills a bunch of white people because, he feels a certain way because you guys told him to feel that way. You guys are the scum of the earth. But anyway, let's get into some more, I guess, positive news. These are protests around the world. I'm going to point them out real quick and tell you where they are. The first couple are Italy. I think it goes Italy, Australia, France, and Austria. I just got some clips to show you how big these protests are. You're not going to see them on the media. That's Italy right there. That's Italy as well. This is Italy. Look how big that is. Look how, no, Italy as well. You're not going to see this on the news. Enormous. Next one will be, I think that this is Australia. Okay, look how big that is. This is just one of the protests in Australia. Enormous. This is what's going on around the world, protesting the mandates. And not all these people are unvaccinated. There are people who've got it who just think it's gone too far as well. And we're going to get into that because they're trying to call those people anti-vaxxers as well. Just ridiculous. Like, I believe this is France. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is France. Just giving you guys an insight. Austria. If you watch the wrong news, they'll tell you this is a white supremacy rally, but it's really just people coming together, defending their freedom against what looks like never-ending pharma tyranny. Before I play the clip of Michael Gunner, I think is his name. Let me look. Michael Gunner from Australia, also complete psychopath. And I could say that because I don't live in Australia, but even if I did, I'd probably still call them psychopaths. But anyway, I want to show you a clip real quick because these protests, they've been very rarely reported in the media, American media, foreign media. They want to act like it's not happening, like everybody just agrees with what's going on. But real quick, and I know this is going to bother some people, but I have to do it because the connection fascinating, and I want to say the reason I'm doing this before I start. Everybody in the world is looking up to somebody strong. They're looking for like a conservative, freedom-fighting leader. So over the past couple of years, Donald Trump has been that leader for people in Japan, for people in Hong Kong, for people in Australia. He's more popular than their own politicians because everybody looks towards America. The First Amendment, the Second Amendment, we're the freedom capital of the world. And Donald Trump was the leader of the Freedom Party. So these protests have been going on. They're getting bigger, but they've been going on all year. It's not because of Joe Biden. It's not because of Donald Trump. They're not blaming any of these people. It's because of the mandates, and it's because of the medical tyranny, the forced masking, the forced vaccination, the kicking people out of work. And Donald Trump was asked by Maria Bartiromo months ago what he thought about all the mandates. And he said that he thinks, and I just wanted to play this because you see all these people protesting. He thinks that people are protesting because he's not president. And if he was president, everybody would get the vaccine. If you don't think this is a red flag, folks, and this guy's going to take back over, I don't know what to tell you, but just listen. And these clips are slightly chopped up because I didn't feel like listening to both of them talk forever. So there is a little chop, but this is in his answer. So just real quick, I just want to show you. Needs to be said, and then we're going to get to the Dan Andrews clip. Austria.
Want to get your take on needing proof to go into restaurants?
She's got a great voice. I need a proof. She just screams at you. Is this what people listen to on Fox News? I'm not trying to be mean. She sounds cool, but like she just screams at the top of her lungs at you, and people just sit there and watch this stuff. Anyway, sorry.
Restaurants needing proof of the vaccine to go into certain stores. Your thoughts on where we are with these new mask mandates coming back?
So I'm very proud of the vaccine. I've taken the vaccine. I'm very, very proud of it. At the same time, some people don't want to take it. And, when I was president, you didn't have this problem with people not wanting to take it. They don't take it because they don't trust Biden and they don't trust the Biden administration. When I was president, you didn't have people protesting the vaccine. If you just think back, everybody wanted to get it. And we were giving out over 1 million shots a day. We had that thing rocking. And he's now president, and he's doing a lousy job with coronavirus. Coronavirus is back. If that ever happened to me where it came back, okay, when I left.
I just find it funny because like everybody looks to him for leadership around the world. Like this is the guy that's going to fight the deep state. And she's like, what do you think about restaurant passports, vaccine passports, protests? Oh, they wouldn't be there if I were president because nobody would be protesting because everybody wanted to get it because of me and not Biden. It's like the fact that I'm the only one that points this out is hilarious to me, but I don't really care. Listen. I just find it weird that everybody's waiting for this guy to come back, and he just doesn't seem to care at all. It's all about him. But anyway, I've said it enough. I just had to put the protests versus him talking about how they wouldn't exist if he were there side by side. Apparently, they have this rule where there's like 5 things you can do to leave the house or something, and now that's 3 things that you can do. Whether you're vaccinated or not, it should creep you out that the government's telling you, you can't leave your house. You will get arrested if you leave your house. You cannot travel a couple miles away from your house. You're not allowed to be 10 miles away from your house unless you're doing a medical thing or unless you're doing this. It's so creepy. Listen to this guy talk. And it's hard to hear with his accent, but he's going to mention Howard Springs. And if you don't know what Howard Springs is, folks, I'm just going to show you a picture. Howard Springs is a quarantine facility where they're apparently taking a bunch of people who are positive with COVID-19. They whisk them away to Howard Springs. And I believe he's referencing using the military or some sort of like state policing to do it. I got to listen again, but it's wild.
To escalate our response in these communities, immediately implementing a hard lockdown. That means residents of Binjari and Rockall no longer have the 5 reasons to leave their home. They can only leave for medical treatment in an emergency or if required by law.
Medical treatment in an emergency are required by law. This is the new lockdown, or I don't know, the rolling lockdown, the previous lockdown. I can't even keep up with Ashay, but he's like, you no longer have the 5 reasons. You have 3 reasons to leave the home. What? This is crazy.
It's highly likely that more residents will be transferred to Howard Springs today, either as positive cases or close contacts.
So he said, we're transferring people to Howard Springs. It's hard to hear him. Howard Springs is that quarantine facility, whether they are contracted it or had a close contact. So I guess we'll roll it back. But even if you have a close contact with somebody that had it, they can whisk you away, or they can choose that you have to go to a quarantine facility in Howard Springs. It's hard to understand, but we'll run it back.
Rockall no longer have the 5 reasons to leave their home. They can only leave for medical treatment in an emergency or if required by law. It's highly likely that more residents will be transferred to Howard Springs today, either as positive cases or close contacts. We've already identified 38 close contacts in Binjari, and that number will go up. Those 38 are being transferred now. I contacted the Prime Minister last night. We are grateful for the support of about 20 ADF personnel as well as army trucks to assist with the transfer of positive cases and close contacts and to support the communities.
So, I mean, it's just like a foreign language to me. I live in America. I mean, it's not great here. I'm not going to act like it's perfect, but so he starts talking about here how he thinks anybody's an anti-vaxxer, even if you got vaccinated, if in any way, shape, or form you support any sort of thing against what he's saying, that like you're horrible. Let's play the clip.
Calling people anti-vaxxers, some of whom were vaccinated, has had an impact at all on vaccine take-up in parts of the territory?
No, and I'll repeat it. If you are anti-mandate, you are absolutely anti-vax. I don't care what your personal vaccination status is. If you support, champion, give a green light, give comfort to, support anybody who argues against the vaccine, you are an anti-vaxxer. Absolutely. Your personal vaccination status is utterly irrelevant. If you campaign against the mandate, if you campaign against people being vaccinated in vulnerable settings, teachers in classrooms, I'll be really clear. At that point in time, people were actually supporting the idea of a teacher being unvaccinated in a remote community classroom with kids who cannot be vaccinated. I reject that utterly, and I still reject it. And if you are out there in any way, shape or form campaigning against this mandate, you are absolutely anti-vax. If you say pro-persuasion, stuff it, shove it. We are absolutely going to make sure as many Territorians as possible are vaccinated. That is our best protection against this thing. And if you look at the Doherty modelling that's only come out since, that says if you double dose 80 in remote communities, 5 and up, I think you'll see our vaccine mandate is absolutely crucial to protecting lives, particularly Aboriginal lives. And I will never back away from supporting vaccines. And anyone out there who comes for the mandate, you are anti-vax.
Well, that guy's angry. I get why he keeps the glasses on now, because, you know, when his eyes are out, he's freaking out. So that's what they're doing in Australia. Quarantine facilities for people that are in close contact, or I guess they make that decision, can't leave the house at certain points in time. I guess they go back and forth on when you can and can't leave the house for what reasons. Sometimes they give you 5 or 3 reasons. And now in his community, whatever, God help the people that he is in charge of or that he has any sort of legislation over, he's freaking out about anybody who doesn't think that people that are unvaccinated should be able to like be around kids or something. It's crazy stuff, folks. It's extremely wild. So let me know what you think, but there's protests going on all over the world. That's happening in Australia in certain parts. I understand it's not the whole country in some elements, but just that type of energy. It's like anybody who disagrees with me, anybody who thinks like you should be allowed to leave your house and go like 10 miles, like you are an anti-vaxxer. Even if you're vaccinated, if you're supporting the other side in any way, it's us versus them. And their side is just full-blown authoritarianism, full-blown medical tyranny. Full blown, I guess, like whenever they want to decide that you have to take something, they get that, and you're a horrible person if you disagree. Um, it's not pretty, folks. So just a window into what could happen here in America, because a lot of this stuff kind of already is seeping in, and they don't really have a plan to reverse it. It seems more like this is like a new groundwork for how they're going to keep building on. So let me know what you guys think here. I'm gonna stick around for probably like 20 more minutes or so, maybe 10 more minutes. And then said the planet's waking up slow like a turtle, but it's happening. Yeah, for sure. I want to say real quick while I'm here, I think there's multiple reasons the protests aren't as big in America. Some of them are good, some of them aren't. These are my reasons. Let me know what you think. These are my reasons I think we're not protesting as hard as Europe and Australia. One, it's not as bad in America. So if you're a type of person that says, hey, I don't want to wear a mask, I don't want to get a vaccine, there are options available to you in America that are not available in certain European countries. So, if you really want to, there's a lot of states, a lot of counties. If you're in a liberal, state, you can move to a conservative county and probably be fine, depending where you work. You could move to conservative county in a conservative state, and you're completely fine in many areas. So, that's one of the reasons why I think there aren't that many big protests in America, is because we have a way out right now. They haven't completely, screwed over our whole country yet. They're going slowly and, sneakily, but we are more free than a lot of places. So that's why it's not that urgent right now. I think that's the main reason, and that's a good reason. I appreciate that. A second reason I think there aren't a lot of protests is because America is a diverse place. Say what you want. America's so racist. Not really. I would say it's one of the least racist places, and it's one of the most diverse places in the world. China doesn't have 50% this or 50% that. Japan, a lot of Europe, the demographics are different. They don't have as many racial issues as we do. And a lot of the racial issues that we have are not even natural. These are not naturally occurring things that we can like talk about and discuss and come to a conclusion. A lot of it is media driven, media constantly dividing, constantly sending the wrong message, constantly inspiring people to do wicked things, and constantly inspiring people to hate good neighbors. And, they use that as a trap to kind of divide us. So the biggest protests in our country were nonsensical protests. These are people going in the streets and burning stuff last year, and ignoring the lockdowns, ignoring the medical tyranny. This isn't even like a top 5 issue in people's heads on the left. I'm not saying they don't have a reason to get out there and peacefully protest, but that's a huge reason why we don't ever come together on anything in this country, because they have used race and politics with Trump, but a lot of race to really divide people and, stop us from really figuring out what they're doing, whether it be the pharmacy industry, both sides of politics, taxes. These are things that everybody's being oppressed on some scale. We can't come together. So yes, we're one of the most free countries. That's why we have the racial division and political division right now. But I think a third reason, and this, I'm going in order of like why we don't. I think the biggest reason is we're free. The second reason is they prioritize the race and Kyle Rittenhouse stuff, so nobody pays attention. And the third reason, I think, and this is the one why I keep bringing it up, is I think that the leader of the conservative movement in this country and in the world is Donald Trump. And regardless of what people say, he doesn't care that much. He always sells this product. He says protests wouldn't exist if he weren't there. He totally doesn't understand this stuff. He's totally out of it. And he seems like he's more interested in protecting Big Pharma and Pfizer and Moderna and Johnson & Johnson, and his legacy of being a pharma, salesman and a pharma money communist socialist. Oh, give them as much money as possible while everything's shut down. He's more interested in that than the protests in America. So I feel like if Trump says this, people jump how high? I mean, there was a bigger protest at the Capitol on January 6th than there was ever for medical tyranny in this country, because he's the guy leading the movement. And I told people this in November, December, January. I said I wasn't pumped with the fact that the big protest wasn't against medical tyranny, because I was trying to tell people then, even in November and December, both sides of the coin, the Republicans and the Democrats, are complicit in ushering this into our country. So why would I go to the Capitol to support a vaccine salesman who seems to care about Moderna more than me when he's the one who was in office to brought this in? Of course, I don't want Joe Biden to be president, but I was always confused anyway why nobody cared about the medical tyranny, but they only cared about whatever Trump said. If Trump said go to the Capitol, people go. If he says don't go, they don't go. Like, he controls the movement. So that's not the number one reason that we don't have big protests here, but I do think it's the number three reason. So that's my thoughts. Let me know yours. I think the first reason is that we're a little more free than a lot of the world. Two, we have the racial and political division that just will never go away because the media wants it to stay forever, the liberal media specifically. And then three, the leader of the conservative freedom movement is working for Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson harder than he's working against the mandates. And that's just true. Saying freedom after a 3-minute sales pitch, that's like saying the side effects after a commercial. You're only doing it to protect yourself. He's only doing it because he knows he'd get booed every time he does get booed if he didn't say that. It's more like, yeah, freedom. He's not really concerned. He doesn't care about the protests. He doesn't care about the mandates. He doesn't care about... If you go to Trump, the website for Doral, which is, I think, one of his Florida properties, it says on the website, I'll quote it because I kind of screenshotted it. He has a mask mandate, allegedly. I mean, they're probably not enforcing it, but it says right on the TrumpHotels.com, it says, in keeping with the CDC and state and local government guidance, we will adjust our policies to allow vaccinated guests and visitors to enjoy our hotels without masks. So on his website, he has a policy that vaccinated people can enjoy his hotels, and I guess unvaccinated people can't. But I doubt that he enforces that there. But I do know in some of the liberal cities, he has been enforcing the mask mandate just like they have. And here's what I do want to say. Somebody that I didn't think would step up was Ben Shapiro. Because if you look at Ben Shapiro and Trump 5 years ago, Ben Shapiro has always been very pro-vaccine and even pro-mandates. Ben has a video where he was explaining how he would be okay with certain mandates for vaccines. And I never liked that. Trump used to be the opposite. Trump used to talk about injuries and side effects. Like, that's what he used to care about. So it's crazy to me in crunch time for humanity. Trump is nowhere to be found. His organizations and stuff, they have made no big stand at all for our country. And it was Ben Shapiro and Daily Wire who filed an OSHA lawsuit. And I believe that their lawsuit helped really push that forward, that big OSHA ruling. Give credit to Ben Shapiro and Daily Wire. I thought he would never do that because he said he supported some mandates. But when push came to shove, Ben stood up for our country and stood up for his organization. I'm not trying to be mean, but where's the Trump organization? I've heard nothing. I mean, Don Jr. is pretty lit on Twitter. I like him. But as far as them saying, hey, we don't support these mandates, we're not going to enforce them, I haven't heard a peep out of the Trump organization because I don't think they really care that much. You get what I'm saying? It's not that they're horrible, bad people, but, Shapiro was like vocal. He lives in a liberal city. Nashville votes blue, but they're like, we will not enforce this. We will sue. Has the Trump administration done that? Is there a big push against the medical tyranny? I don't know. That's just my questions. I was just curious of that because I saw Shapiro and Daily Wire step up. So I was wondering what the policy of, the Trump hotels was. Are they enforcing the mask mandate? Are they going to cave to the vaccine mandate? Or are they going to pull a Daily Wire and really, put their feet in the ground? And I get both sides of the equation. Everything's turning authoritarian and people are trying to protect themselves, right? A lot of businesses are trying to protect themselves. I know businesses that don't enforce the mask mandate, they will post it on their website just to be legally protected. So I want to be honest. I get that Trump, his company might be scared and they might say, we're not going to enforce it in certain areas, but we'll put it on our website just to be safe. But here's my thing about that. And this is aside of just one man, that's creepy just in general in America that you have to post on your website that you're enforcing something against the unvaccinated just to protect yourself. It's starting to feel very World War II. It's like, do you have a vaccine passport? And a lot of people show a fake one, which you shouldn't do because it's illegal. But in general, I get why people do it, but it's like, it's just kind of cowardly. I get it though. I want to go. I want to pretend like I have it, but it's like, you're pretending to show papers. So now you're justifying the order they're putting in. So I'm not blaming Trump for that, but he's probably doing it to protect his business from these authoritarians. But the more you cave, the more they do. The more you act like it's okay that they're doing that and you're going to play along whether you do it or not just to, fit in / not get in trouble, the more that they will, do that type of stuff. So we'll see what happens. But it's like, I would love to see, and this is my thing, and then I'm going to leave. I would love to see more Republicans and conservatives not just do like bare minimum and say like, we don't know what we're doing. We believe this, but it's like, I don't know. I would love to see more people like a DeSantis who actually at least do a little more and prove that they notice this stuff and care. Because I guess I have a certain level of like, as a man, as a citizen, if you prove that you care about me and you love this country, I have your back, right? For years, I had Trump's back. I knew that he was the most important person. I'm not someone that gets too big for my britches, like, oh, it's all about me. No, he is the guy. Like, I'm a nobody. It doesn't matter what I say, or like, Trump is the president. Trump is the leader of this movement. That's why I defended him. I say he's that guy. He's that dude. I prayed for him. I'm like, he is the catalyst right now. He is that wall protecting all of us. So I really gave it all up to him. I was like, good job. And I never got too big for my britches. And then in 2020, when the lockdowns happened, I felt as a man and a citizen that he just didn't really care that much about me. He's like, didn't really say much. He's like flying jet. Oh, I'll fly jets so you can see Air Force One. Bro, whatever. I mean, I love jet shows, but not when I'm locked in my house like a slave. That's like you throwing crumbs to me. Like, yeah, we're gonna take away your freedom, but just watch the jets fly over your head. I thought that was whack. I mean, I felt like he never really cared about the mask situation because he wasn't forced masked for a long time. And now with the protests and stuff, I feel like he doesn't care at all. I know he doesn't care at all, or else he'd talk about it more, like a DeSantis or a Candace Owens, or I mean, pretty much anybody. Everybody but him talks about this stuff. He just feels like, I feel like he doesn't really care that much. So that's just how I feel. And that's why I said what I said. But let me know what you think. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world.